been trying to stay away from this topic because it really just makes me red in the face. But it's something that needs to be talked about, and this video popped up on my feed. I thought it would be a great reaction. This is the Marvel's pitch meeting, which I have a lot to say on this topic, and I'll save it for after we react to the video here, or after I react and you watch along with me. I'll save my thoughts for after, but I just want to say that I have not watched the Marvels. I have tried not to pay attention to the MCU for a while. There's been a lot of cool stuff going on that doesn't make me feel like I've been tortured, that my childhood has been ripped apart and urinated on. So I guess today is that day where the old HatGuy comes back. I am going to be enjoying this video and then having a little chat with you guys about the MCU. Yeah, it should be fun. As you know, I can get a little passionate about things. So, without any further ado, this is the Marvel's pitch meeting. I've watched a couple of these videos in the past, and I would love to bring this into the fold for the reactions in the future, because they do a really good job. Pitch meeting is the name of the channel, and let's jump into this video, shall we?
So, you have a movie for me?
Yes, sir, I do. It's a sequel to Captain Marvel.
Oh boy.
And WandaVision.
Oh.
And Miss Marvel.
All right.
And Secret Invasion, kinda. So it's like a sequel to 16 hours of content across 3 shows and a movie?
Yeah.
And it'd be preferable if viewers had watched all of that.
Hey, what's a Marvel movie without a bit of homework?
So what happens in this thing? Well, we've got this villain, Dar-Ben, right? And she's kind of angry because Captain Marvel's actions have kind of killed her planet Hala.
All right.
As long as we're not doing one of those generic, forgettable villains. People are really sick of forgettable villains.
Oh, trust me, sir, Dar-Ben's anything but forgettable.
Who's Dar-Ben? Okay, that's not a good sign. Anyway, this villain wants to get her hands on these 2 bangles.
Ah, so she heads to Cincinnati?
No, these are like quantum bands.
Oh, okay. And so Dar-Ben,
who is the villain, has one, and also Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, has one too. She's from Miss Marvel!
And Dar-Ben uses hers to create a jump point in space, which causes all kinds of wackiness.
What kind of wackiness? Well, since Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and Monica Rambeau have light-based powers, they switch places when any of them use their powers simultaneously.
Shouldn't Emilia Clarke's character from Secret Invasion be switching with them too?
Hey, shut up. And so these characters take off to a planet called Tarnax, and then Nick Fury takes Kamala Khan's family onto a space station.
Well, why would he bring them there?
For safety.
That seems incredibly unsafe.
Well, see, sir, the thing is, I want them in the movie. They're funny.
Fair enough. So what happens next? Well, Nick Fury's gonna crack jokes the whole time. You know Nick Fury. We just had him being pretty depressed and brooding in Secret Invasion.
Yeah, really funny stuff. So then Dar-Ben is gonna steal all the breathable air from this planet and send it back home to Hala.
That's Spaceballs.
Your Spaceballs.
Oh, my Spaceballs are tight. Okay, carry on. You got me.
So now Miss Marvel wants to stay behind and save all the people from this dying planet, but Captain Marvel's like, no, we save who we can. We gotta get out of here.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're gonna see Miss Marvel be like, what the heck?
Oh, she's disappointed in her hero. That's an interesting thing to explore. Definitely. It's gonna be a super interesting 20 seconds. We're not diving in deeper than that?
Well, no, there's no time.
Why not?
I've already moved on.
Oh, okay, I didn't realize.
So then they go to this other planet where everybody sings, and if you don't sing, they don't understand you.
What?
And Captain Marvel is a princess, and she sings, and she wears a princess dress, and she sings too.
What is going on?
A bunch of cute space kittens gobble people up, but then they spit them out to safety, and that's those are kittens, they're heroes now.
Hey, excuse me, what are you talking about?
All right, full disclosure, I did one of those take your daughter to work days and let my 4-year-old take a crack at some of these scenes.
Oh, cute. All right, that clears that up.
And then the bad guys are gonna attack. Hey, since these people are musical, it could be cool to do some kind of musical fighting style.
No.
All right, and now Dar-Ben wants to steal the sun from Earth.
Uh-oh, we need that thing for tanning purposes. Now, who's Dar-Ben?
She's the villain.
And what's her deal?
I told you about Dar-Ben already. I did that.
No, doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, that's not great. All right, anyway, now the Marvels need to fight her.
Very exciting.
And Dar-Ben's gonna get both quantum bands and tear a frickin' hole in space-time and die.
Not good.
Yeah, so now Monica Rambeau has no choice but to close this hole from the other side.
Why can't she close it from their own side?
Because that's what I wrote here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so now that the universe and Earth are saved, Captain Marvel's gonna go back to Hala and try to save that planet too.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, she's gonna tell Miss Marvel, I'm gonna bring Hala back, girl.
I mean, that sounds like it's gonna be tough. It's not just gonna happen like that. Actually, it's gonna be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really?
Yes, she flies into the sun and makes it hot again with her powers.
I mean, if she has the power to reignite a sun with her powers, how is this villain difficult for her to beat at all?
Well, no, she had to learn the power of friendship and stuff.
That works. And so that's about it. What do you think?
I mean, it sounds like some Marvel content. I think we just need a bit more to get people excited for marketing purposes.
We can cut a trailer that kind of reminds people of older MCU movies that they really like and be like, hey, this is connected to that.
Yeah, I mean, let's definitely play that card and throw that in there. Let's also toss a CGI beast into a mid-credit scene, get people talking about X-Men.
Oh, yeah, that'll get word of mouth real buzzy. Fill those seats up.
It's funny, but it hurts. God, it hurts. I don't like being so turned off by the MCU, because at one point, and I'm sure many of you feel the same way, it was like we were finally getting something that we had dreamed about for so long. Myself growing up in the 90s and seeing all the fucking awesome video games for my favorite comic book characters and all the cool animated series that came out for my favorite comic book characters from DC and Marvel. You know, it was fucking incredible. And of course there were Batman movies that were okay, and then you had the Dark Knight trilogy, which was just incredible. But on Marvel, it was like, what are you guys fucking waiting for? Like, do something already. Blade had come out and had proven that a lot of these characters in the Marvel universe were just fucking insanely cool, and there was tons of cool shit that could be done with them, and it just wouldn't happen. So when like X-Men came out, and with like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and then you had Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, like those were the two main guys for me when I was growing up, like Wolverine, Spider-Man. Of course I like Deadpool, but I never thought that they would make any kind of movies with Deadpool because he was so fucking off the wall. It did happen, obviously, which was a great success, but I never thought that would happen. And things were happening that just like, it was unreal. It was unbelievable. And you started to see people getting into like comic book characters that you would never imagine would be fans of this shit. Like when I was in middle school and when I was in high school, you didn't like openly talk about comic book characters and shit and wear comic book character t-shirts and shit in school. You get fucking picked on for that shit. And then all of a sudden the same people that were like, oh, that shit's stupid, blah, 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 we're like, Iron Man's the shit. You know, like they were all hyped about these fucking movies, and it like peaked at Endgame. It was like everybody was united in fucking like, yes, this has been a badass ride, and it's awesome to see all these Marvel characters get the love that they deserve. And in Endgame, there was some fuckery that it's like weird. And when Captain Marvel came out and people were like, fuck this sucks, everything has been cool up until this point where you guys created the shittiest movie connected to Marvel in a really long time. Up until that point, there's not a single movie that was as shitty as Captain Marvel. It fucking sucked. It was boring. And it's the same thing with Superman. I know a lot of people are gonna get mad about this, but whatever. Superman bores me to tears. Like, it's just, she was like the Superman of Marvel, and it's just like, do we really fucking need that? The struggle is what's fucking cool about this shit. So when you have the Mary Sue character that just shows up and like everything's good, it's like, oh fuck yeah, but now, well, like, what's the point? Gals and guys that we've all invested in, and now they're just like, their powers look stupid because you've got this I'm above and beyond everything that just shows up and fucking saves the day. That kind of sucks. Captain Marvel was that for the MCU, and it's like you go through all this shit from like Iron Man all the way up until Ant-Man and Wasp, and then you get Captain Marvel right before Endgame because that's what we needed right then. That's what was appropriate. Fuck off. You know, and then Spider-Man, you know, Far From Home, which was fucking incredible again. And then it was a nosedive from there. And it sucks because it didn't have to be this way. because you have all of these characters inside and underneath the Marvel umbrella that are beloved, that are able to just be used to create new fans and continue these badass stories. There's no shortage of cool stories that have been put out in the comic books for so long, where there's direct references to, frame by fucking frame, with dialogue and visual descriptions that you can look at. If you just can't get your head around it, you can just literally look at your fucking neighbor's homework and put that on the film, and it would be so much better than this fucking bullshit that, let me add, nobody asked for. Nobody! And nobody showed up for it. For people who seem to like just really want to make some fucking money, make it! You have the characters to make it with! It doesn't have to be the way that it is! How long have we been waiting for Blade? Hello? How long? There's no shortage of diversity in comic books. Nerd culture in and of itself, whether you're looking at video games, sci-fi, horror, all of that shit has been the fucking front runners for diversity since its inception. Even in Star Trek, where you have the first interracial kiss on television. Star Trek is the perfect example of time after time being diverse, inclusive, without fucking forcing it. And that's happened in comic books. I grew up thinking Al Simmons was the fucking shit, loving Spawn, loving Blade. So many characters. And you have to shoehorn and force bullshit that sucks over and over again. The Marvels, just the worst fucking movie ever by Marvel? Really? Is that what they need right now? I don't think so. I haven't even been able to enjoy the the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because I can't anymore. I can't. I have, gotten to the point where I'm like, fuck, man, I'll check some of this shit out and just like give it a chance. I'm tired. I don't have any problems at all with creating new characters or creating new storylines for characters that have kind of existed, but we're gonna introduce them into the current mix in any way that they want. Just make it enjoyable. Make it fun. Make it cool. DC just released the Blue Beetle movie, which I watched, and I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was perfect. Of course not. It didn't feel forced. There was tons of representation in that. But it was fun, and it was lighthearted a lot, but there were some serious tones and things. Like, it wasn't a perfect film, but it was much better than the bullshit like She-Hulk that I've tried to watch that has come out from Marvel. It was so much like Eternals made my eyes bleed because I was trying to keep them open from going shut, from being bored to fucking death by just this shit that didn't make any sense. The characters were so fucking just weak. Like, I couldn't invest in them at all. There was no development. They were just fucking boring. It was all boring. It was so, these films are accomplishing exactly the opposite of what Disney seems to want to happen with them. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. And that's what it's about. At Endgame, we had our disbelief suspended for a moment when I was packed in the theater with some of my great friends, watching it premiere, watching all these people who invested so much time and years of enjoying these films into finally seeing the culmination of it. All of that hype and love and enjoyment that took so long for those of us who grew up with these characters to finally get represented on screen has just been flushed like a fucking turd. And it sucks, man. It really sucks because I want to be hyped. Like, I want to be hyped for a new Blade film. I want to be hyped for the Deadpool film with Wolverine in it. Like, who wouldn't want to see that on screen? But it's just like, dude, it's the same people who gave us the fucking Eternals and She-Hulk and did all this bullshit. I can't get excited for that because I feel like I'm going to go into the fucking theater and be all fucking hyped just to get slapped in the fucking face again. And it's like, oh, is it really that serious? Is it blah, 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 blah? No, it's entertainment. But like, when you're taunted constantly, when you're told, when you're gaslit and told you're the one that's wrong, if you have a problem with this, you're fucked up, you don't know what you're talking about, blase, motherfucking blase, yet I'm the one who grew up watching Spider-Man cartoons from Spider-Man the Animated Series on Fox Kids because I grew up in shitty circumstances, and that was something that brought me some fucking joy into my life during some of the hardest times of my fucking life. But I shouldn't care about Marvel. It's not for me. It's not for us, though we literally have been there for that company for so long as fans in many different ways. Video games, comic books, TV shows, all that shit. But we shouldn't give a fuck when instead of, doing something cool with characters that we give a fuck about, rebooting Ghost Rider or, something cool like fucking Blade or, who knows? There's tons of shit that they have access to. Those are just a few of my favorites. But we should just accept the fact that the most important characters are the ones that nobody gives a fuck about. I don't know. It's sad. I don't enjoy feeling the way that I do about Marvel. And hopefully this rant has not brought down anybody. But, yeah, fuck it, man. It just is what it is. If the Marvels is like a huge gut check for Disney, if it kicks them in the balls, then fuck it. That's what they deserve. They deserve financial fucking ruin for taking literally decades worth of copy and paste content that they could put on screen and instead desecrating it, urinating on it, and kicking dirt in the fans' faces. Maybe they deserve the gut check of losing a whole bunch of money for being fucking stupid.